Alright, Algebra 1, we have our last video of the year. I know it's upsetting. Please don't cry. It's okay. I think we can get through this. I think we can. Or we can just say, whoop, whoop, it's almost summer. Whoop, whoop, it's almost summer. Okay, sorry. Let's just go ahead and finish this and get it out of the way. So we have our last one, which is solving quadratic equations in a variety of ways. So what that means is you're just going to be given a quadratic equation, and your goal is to figure out how to solve it. Whether that's factoring, whether a is 1, not 1, or you could use a quadratic formula. So let's go ahead and just dive here. Remember, I'm going to write down the quadratic formula for you just in case you forget it. So we've got negative b plus or minus radical b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, so that is there for you if you need it. You might not, who knows. So when I'm doing problems like this and I'm not sure what I want to do, I'm just going to start by doing my a times c, or just my c. So as we can see in this first problem, we just have this 4. Okay, so we know we want it to multiply to get us 4. But we want it to add to get us 5. So let's list some factors of 4. We have 1 and 4, and we have 2 and 2. Well, that's pretty easy right off the bat, that you can see that 1 and 4 is going to give you 5. So don't waste your time with a quadratic formula. Just go ahead and plug it in. So we have x plus 1 and x plus 4. Remember, that equals 0. So your next step is to set both of them equal to 0. So x plus 1 equals 0. And x plus 4 equals 0. Well, when we solve these, got to subtract 1 on both sides to get these to cancel out. So in our first set of numbers, we've got negative 1. And we got to do that same thing to 4. Subtract it so it cancels out. So our set of solutions is negative 1, and negative 4. So there's my first one. That one wasn't too bad because we automatically knew what factors of 4 were. Well, let's go ahead and look at number 2. Well, I want to start off by doing my a times c because the leading coefficient isn't 1. So I'm doing 7 multiplied by negative 24. Well, that gives me a negative 168. Okay, and our goal is for it to add up to negative 38. Well, let's be honest. Most people do not know every single factor of 168. Okay, that is okay. But thankfully, I do know that 4 and 42 gives us 168. And it just so happens that if you make 4 positive and 42 negative, it gives you a negative 38. Okay, but what I want to say is not many people will know that, and that is okay. So if you don't know that right off the top of your head, just go ahead and plug your a, b, and c into your quadratic equation and do the problem that way. Okay, that would work just as well. You would get the exact same answer. Okay, so you can either set it up, which it works, or you could just factor it out. So I'm going to go ahead and do the quadratic formula. So we know that my b is negative 38, but a negative times negative gets us a positive. So that's 38 plus or minus radical negative 38 squared minus 4 times a, which is 7, times b, which is negative 24. And that's all over 2 times a, which is 7. Ooh, running out of room here. So we've got 38. Excuse me. We've got 38 plus or minus 1,444 plus 672. All I'm doing is simplifying another radical. That's all over 14. We're going to keep going with that. We've got 38 plus or minus the square root of 2,116. That's all over 14. And then we know that well, we don't know, but you can find out in your calculator that the square root of 2,116 gives you 46. So you have 38 plus or minus 46 all over 14. And we know that's going to break off into 2, where you have 38 plus 46 over 14, and 38 minus 46 over 14. Well, the top one gives us 6, and the other one gives us negative 4/7. And that would be the same answer whether you factored it or you plugged it in your quadratic equation. Okay, so both of those work, and that's what I want you guys to see. So if you don't know the factors right off the top of your head, if there's no direction, you can use it any method. Feel free to just plug it in the quadratic formula. All right, we got 2 more left. Whoop, whoop. So, got to move some stuff over because we have to have this equal to 0. So we have to move over that 11x by subtracting and move over the 28 by adding. Got to do the opposite of what it's doing now. So our formula now we've got is x squared minus 11x plus 28. Okay, well this is when a is 1, so a lot of the times that's a lot easier. So remember, we take our last number, we've got 28. Well, what numbers multiply to give us 28? We got 1 and 28. We got 2 and 14. And negative 4 and 7. 4 and 7, excuse me. Our goal is to get negative 11. Well, 1 and 28 is not going to give me that. 2 and 14 is not going to give me that. But 4 and 7 will, and they'll both be negative. So that'll get us our negative 11. So this is the easy part. Because a is 1, you'll just have x minus 4 and x minus 7, and that equals 0. So let's go ahead and set both of those terms equal to 0. So we've got x minus 4 equals 0, and x minus 7 equals 0. All right, gots to solve for x. So we got to add 4 on both sides to get those to cancel out. We isolate our variable, x equals 4. Got to do that same thing with 7. Add it. They cancel out, so we have x equals 7. So our set of solutions here is 4 and 7. Smiley face because we're almost there. And a heart because I love this. All right. Last one. Number 4. I'm starting to tear up. That's how I'm upset about this being the last video. All right. So let's look. So we don't have a number in front of A. So we're just using that last number. So we've got 45. Our goal is for it to equal negative 14. Well, let's list some factors of 45. That's pretty easy. You got 1 and 45. You've got 3 and 9. And you got 5 and 9. Well, if our goal is to get negative 14, well, 1 and 45 is never going to give me that. 3 and 9 is never going to give me that. But 5 and 9 will, if they're both negative. So that's what gives us our negative 14. Well, because a is 1, that makes our job 10 times easier on solving this problem, because all we got to do is plug it right in. So we got x minus 5, x minus 9, and that equals 0. Go ahead and set each term equal to 0. So x minus 5 equals 0, and x minus 9 equals 0. Go ahead and solve for x, which I'm sure you guys are beasts at by now. So add 5, x equals 5, add 9, oh my gosh, we're almost there, equals 9. So our set of solutions, oh goodness, is 5 and 9. Oh my gosh, you did it. You did it. I am proud of you, and I am also proud of all the teachers that work so hard to make your education magnificent. So, go back to that front page. Go ahead and go down to that last part. Go ahead and put a big check through that booklet. Boom, we did it. Go on and do the worksheet. If you have any questions, let us know. Deuces!